It is official! The numbers are in and the numbers do not lie. The Rings of Power is a fiasco, a failure, a mistake. Economically, culturally, and narratively. With the two latter ones being by far the most important ones, as The House of the Dragon got 4.8 million views on its opening episode, whereas Rings of Power got 1.8. That's a 2-to-1 advantage for HBO. Now, the usual caveats do apply. These numbers are certainly not perfect, and if the numbers were even remotely close, I'd say that was important, but they are not. And again, Game of Thrones is no baby franchise, it's no minor thing, but compared to The Lord of the Rings, compared to Amazon's most expensive TV show in entertainment history, based upon one of the most beloved and popular book series in human history, that spawned 3 movies that earned billions of dollars, 1.8 million views on the premiere episode, after months upon months, after half a year plus of hardcore marketing. That is a slaughter. An absolute, genuine bloodbath, and nothing short of it. Particularly as well, here's the thing. As I mentioned previously, this is not an economic thing. Amazon did not make the Rings of Power to earn money. Even if the Rings of Power completely bombed, did not earn a single cent, even if they lost every dollar invested, it would be less than a week's revenue for Amazon. That is how massive the company is. This was always about creating a cultural phenomenon. It was about placing Amazon's logo firmly on the Lord of the Rings property and their franchise. This was about the future, the wider picture, if you will. Toys, future movies, television shows, all of it. Made even more important, of course, by Embracer Group's recent acquisition of the rest of the Lord of the Rings franchise, the movies specifically. This was Amazon's chance to claim Lord of the Rings, and they have failed. And I attribute that almost exclusively, frankly, to the review scores. Because here's the thing. To a normie, their only frame of reference is this right here. Metacritic 1.8. That is unbelievably low. And honestly, Rotten Tomatoes is probably the more accurate one, as it hasn't really been trying to advantage one side or the other. 39% audience score. That sounds about right for this show. I would personally give it a 4 out of 10. That would be my low, maybe a 3, honestly. Depending on how much you value the violation of Tolkien's legacy, I guess. And even on IMDb, owned by Amazon and heavily censored to the point that only the 6-star reviews, with nothing lower than 6 stars even popping up anymore, 0 reviews. 1-star reviews, of which there will be many, 0 reviews. Even with all that censorship, all of that repression, specifically also in the age of Amazon's very suspicious perfect 10 out of 10 scores, they have just barely scraped a 6.8 for the first Lord of the Rings anything practically in 2 decades. This is beyond a failure. And again, for the normies, this is their only frame of reference. They don't consume geekdom media. They don't go to YouTube to look up reviews. They don't go to mainstream media even. They go to the review sites and they see the score. In most cases, this is all they look at. It's like Steam. If you go to Steam and you see mixed reviews, much less mostly negative, does that immediately color your opinion of a game? Of course it does. And if you start digging in deeper and doing your research, you've already done more than 99% of casual consumers. This is the important number that we need to hammer. And to further emphasize that point, it has been well over 72 hours now. In fact, I think it's been about 4 days rather than 3. And guess what? Amazon is still not allowing reviews of the Rings of Power. They're scared. They know they have failed. They know they've fucked up. They are in desperate damage control mode. And here's the thing too. To all of you people who say like, leaving a review is pointless, Amazon will just censor it, you are correct. At least in part. Amazon will censor it. They have demonstrated that. They will happily wipe your review off the internet. But when they do that, it's obvious. To any normie that looks at this and goes like, okay, well, let me just look through the reviews. None. They're not complete idiots. Not to mention, this is a story that has spread across the entirety of the internet. Even the mainstream media has picked up on the obvious censorship. And when people see a company desperately trying to cover up the review scores, what do you think their assumption is? Oh, it must be because it's a really good show. Of course not. Hiding the reviews for 72 hours because of trolls? That might have worked in 2016. It's not going to be working today. Not by any extent of the imagination. And hey, the thing is too, I want to point out, because I've seen so many other sites as well talk about the House of Dragon comparison. Like, why is House of Dragon's success and Rings of Power a miserable failure? It's because of the racist, the trolls, that's the problem. No, that isn't the case. Because you know why? Fans are fucking simps. Hell, I get to say it because I am one as well, alright? We, as a fandom, when it comes to video games or it comes to movies, to television shows, we are way too forgiving. It is a genuine error amongst us because we love the actual settings, we love the franchises. Like House of the Dragon. I've always been a kind of Game of Thrones fans. I've got all the books, I've read all the books, I do really enjoy the books, some exceptions in the latter ones because, but it was good stuff. I quite enjoyed the TV show. I would give House of the Dragon at best a 6 out of 10, a 7 maybe if you push me on it, but an 84%, an 8.8, that puts it above The Shield. No. I'm sorry, but no. By the way, if you haven't watched The Shield, you are missing out on life. The story of Vic Mackey is... it is brilliant. Now, my review scores are a bit stricter than most, like, for example, this is one of the problems with the current day review environment as well, because this perfect 10s or just 1s, ignore the fact that the TV show is genuinely not particularly good and is a 4 or a... I was about to say a 5, but it is not a 5, it's a 4. And even the 4 I'd give for visual effects and aesthetics alone. It is below average, but the Rings of Power is a cultural question. It is a cultural battleground, because make no mistake, look at this. They are doing what I am urging all of us to do, and this again, the no hate watching shit is a bad idea. You are hurting your cause, you are hurting us by not reviewing this project, by not reviewing this, by not giving an informed opinion on it. You're this percentage here. We should be at least this, if not more. If you actually believe we are the silent minority, well, there you go. They are simply better at us than this. They are better activists, and that is why they have all the reins of power. That's why where we are today is where we are. Progressives didn't get to the positions they are now, having expensive-ass TV shows made for them, because they shut up about it. Of course not. They were vocal. Being vocal is the only way to get anything done. It might not create immediate payoff, but it is the only thing that works. But again, in the age of perfect tens, I get why the House of Dragons has a high score, but again, Jesus Christ, no. No. Not a chance. Not a chance in ever living hell. But details, and honestly, my theory too is because I don't see it, why House of Dragons is declared that brilliant, but I kind of do understand why. I think it is because the last season of Game of Thrones was a massive failure. It was a disaster, and it left a lot of people genuinely blue-balled with a terrible ending to the story. And now that they're being given something, anything, as long as it isn't dog shit, they'll lap it up and think it delicious. This is a genuine human thing. It's just how it works. It reminds me, I was reading about the Battle of Iwo Jima and how a Japanese soldier described the water he was lapping up from the floor of his cave as the most delicious drink he'd ever had. I'm just saying. But no, this is a success for our side. It could be a bigger success. It should be a bigger success. So if you haven't left a review yet, do so. And do a little bit of research first, because if you just hand in a bullshit, retarded review, that's ammunition for Amazon. In fact, I had Kyle check out, because he's the Amazon Prime simp, whether or not the reviews are up, and he was able to submit a review, but it was not shown because it was being reviewed by Amazon. Amazon has reviewers, and be absolutely certain, if you just write bullshit, that will be front page news when Amazon decides to turn back on the reviews. It'll be everywhere. Look at these racist reviews. Look at these troll reviews. You see, we had to shut it down. You have to be vocal, but you gotta know what you're talking about as well. So again, I urge you, I genuinely do, this is how you get a good Lord of the Rings. Not by ignoring it. Amazon doesn't give a fuck if you don't watch it, but if you give them a strong enough signal that they need to produce something better, or better yet, if you send a signal to Embracer Group that owns the movie rights that they need to do better, they will. Because unlike Amazon, Embracer Group actually needs to earn money. So seriously, go, leave a review, and do your part for all of us. Till next time, I've been Arch. Thank you all for watching, thank you all for your reviews, and have a very good day.